जिक्र उस परिवश का और फिर बयां अपना हो गया रकीब आखिर था जो मेजबां अपना. Wouldn't you agree with me when I say that practically every individual in this room has relished and partaken of a lavish feast or two at the renowned table of the Fareeds? If yes, then let us begin by cheering the force behind this roaring fame. तेरा जिक्र भी हमने किया नहीं, जो कहना था सब जान गए. तेरा नाम भी हमने लिया नहीं और लोग तुझे पहचान गए. Ladies and gentlemen, here is to the fantastically stylish, breathtakingly generous, fabulously welcoming, one of the most beloved party givers in New York and now a singularly successful author. 3 cheers for Marina Fareed. For those of you who've not yet eaten at this famous table, now is your chance, because guess what? You are invited. बहुत लगता है दिल सोहबत में उसकी. बहुत लगता है दिल सोहबत में उसकी, वो अपनी जान में एक अंजुमन है. Wow. I've known Marina for more than 3 decades. Initially it was rather surgery, superficial, as I would drop by her place or meet her at some party or the other while I was visiting Manhattan from Chicago or Massachusetts, where I lived. In 2007, I moved to New York with a young daughter, and both of us were still heartbroken trying to adjust to life after the death of my husband, Harvey. I can safely say that were it not for 2 couples, Anis and Rafat, plus Marina and Shaukat, Shehrazad and I would not have made it in this mad, mad city unscathed. It is thanks to the warmth of their welcome, their unconditional love and support, that we were able to start laying down roots in this city. It is my turn to thank Marina for her 1,000 acts of kindness and support over these years. फैज मंजूर है तो फैज के असबाब बना. Here Faz is not referring to the famous poet Faz, but it's a gorgeous Urdu word meaning success, grace, favor, bounty. फैज मंजूर है तो फैज के असबाब बना, अपने कुछ यार बना, दोस्त और अहबाब बना. By the way, in my opinion, there are only 2 kinds of dosts, friends. The first are those you can share the sad things with in your life. The tears, your sorrows, the ones to whom you can confess your failures. These are rare. But then there's a second category which is even more rare. These are friends you can share your success with. The fact that you are in this room today is a huge compliment to you, because you see, Marina obviously holds you among the rarest kinds of friends with whom she wishes to share her latest success as an author. Wow. It is another matter that I have yet to achieve a success story worth sharing, which is my quest to cure cancer. Nonetheless, hats off to Marina, who has been patiently listening to my harangues for decades with the fortitude of a US Marine. She is my Navy SEAL. She is my dost. Thank you, Marina. And I read this share for my 4 best friends in New York: Anis, Rafat, Marina, and Shaukat. कितने हसीन लोग हैं जो मिल के एक बार, कितने हसीन लोग हैं जो मिल के एक बार आंखों में जज्ब हो गए, दिल में समा गए.
वाह वाह वाह.
Now let us turn to the real reason we are here, the book. Let us begin by asking, what is in a name? You are invited. It's an inspired title because it immediately and immensely intrigued you. You are invited to what? Then you read the subtitle, Diplomats, Diaspora and Dégustation, and see the cover photograph of a table setting. In an exceptionally ingenious move, the plates are left empty. This whets your appetite to know how it's going to get filled by what is to come between the covers. And what comes does not disappoint. Following a witty foreword by James Ivory, the introduction escorts you into an enchanted journey through the charmed lives of the Fareeds. What happens next is described by my sister, Dr. Azra Raza, BB, who had this to say to Marina in an email. Azra came home after work at about 8 p.m., but by the time I got out to say hello to her, she had retired to her room, having had a long day. I noticed that she had left a book for me at the table. You are invited. I opened it and started to go through it page by page, ingesting headlines, absorbing the treasured pictures. I simply could not put the book down till the last page with your lovely picture at the end. I must say it's an epic work. Right now, I'm so dazzled by it that I'm finding it hard to find words to express my appreciation. So well done, so well written, so well presented, such an amazing title and such a collection of treasured historic pictures, along with what seem like fabulous collection of mouth-watering recipes. I may try some of them. But the book itself is a gem, actually a valuable history of Pakistani diplomatic scene internationally. You produced an amazing book. My congratulations to Shaukat, Asim, Asma, you and your whole family. You are a writer and an artist. End of quote. I think Bibi says it all, almost, but let me add a few of my observations. I was struck by the very first picture in the book. On the dedication page, the one of your beloved daughter, Iman Fareed, who passed from cancer at 4 years of age. The caption is deeply moving. A light too briefly in the world and eternally in our hearts. I don't think a month goes by without Shaukat or Marina asking me to intervene on behalf of a patient with cancer. But never have they directly spoken about their own loss. Only twice I had a chance to witness their profound anguish. The first time was when Shaukat had brought a friend to consult with one of my oncology colleagues in the clinic at Columbia University. Shaukat and I sat in my office waiting. Suddenly he broke down and started sobbing. I was completely unnerved, not knowing what had happened. When he got a hold of himself, he said, being in the hospital like this reminds me of another time, Azra. I wish we knew you then, when Iman was sick. I feel you could have helped her. And then both of us started crying. Another time I asked Marina why she never talks about the pain of losing Iman, and she gave a truly profound and thoughtful response. Azra, what would be the point? For people who don't care about me, it will not matter anyway. And for people who care about me, it will only make them feel terrible for me. I don't want others to suffer on my account. People have their own share of trials and tribulations, and this was ours. We have so much to be grateful for, and we must constantly count our blessings. Such is their class, such is their polish, such is their refinement. And this class, this polish, this refinement shines through every page of this book. The point is that by starting with a picture of this most beloved but never talked about child, Marina has alerted us that she does not intend this to be any old ordinary cookbook. However, even I was surprised by its magnificent expanse. The number of topics it covered, the events, the cultural nuances, the places, personalities that Marina has managed to pack in a single volume. And doing it with the effortless superiority of a polished master. In fact, You Are Invited is several books in one. There is the history of a nation and that of two families going back to pre-partition India. It's an autobiography with friends and colleagues playing major roles front and center, but without ever becoming unbearable. There are tales of diplomacy and a record of history through personal anecdotes. There are descriptions of world leaders and traditional ceremonies. There are delicious recipes, of course, but also descriptions of the striking events where the meals were served. One of my favorite parts is the narration of defining moments in the Fareed household, such as the wedding of their adored daughter, complete with spectacular photographs of a luminous and drop-dead gorgeous Asma. Marina's ambassadorial approach to cooking is also exceptional and inimitable. How naturally and smoothly she shows that diplomacy is all about finding common ground. And what could be more universally shared than a love of good food? Another thing that really makes this book stand out is the author's storytelling ability. The portraits of friends, family, and diplomats Marina has captured his riveting narrative are astonishingly well done. I confess I was deeply flattered by what you had to say about me. Actually, it reminded me of a famous landmark of New York. Elaine's was a bar and restaurant located on the Upper East Side, 2nd Avenue and East 88th Street, practically next door to you. It operated between 1963 and 2011, and it was owned by a true New York legend, Elaine Kaufman. Elaine's persona defined the place, and she became indelibly associated with the restaurant. Any given night, it was packed with celebrities, especially actors and authors. So much so that if you asked where the restroom was, Elaine herself would direct you saying, take a left by Robert De Niro and a right by Uma Thurman, and you'll see the sign next to Mia Farrow. Well, I can see something like that happening with your book. For example, should people refer to me, Azra Raza, by the title you so generously confirmed upon me on page 153, The Renaissance Woman, or refer to me as Khade Masale Ka Gosht? Because now that recipe is permanently associated with my name. Or let's say I want to make some chana pulao. Oh, okay, go to Ambassador Ayesha Ali. Bangan bhurta, Ambassador Rafat Mehdi and Anis. Fish curry in yogurt masala and Meena Durrani. Shalgam sabzi, Ambassador Hussain Haroon. But what made me really laugh out loud was the recipe of a very meaty pot roast, now forever associated with the author of Meatless Days. I can just hear peals of laughter emanating from our beloved friend, the late Sarah Suleri, at this unintended desecration. You know, a couple of months ago, my daughter Shahzad, a graduate student in film, was over for lunch at my apartment. While working on her laptop at the dining table, she said, Mommy, I've had such a tough semester. Can you please take me to a beach somewhere? No, I said, absolutely not. 10 years ago, I took you to an exclusive resort, and after 3 days there, I swore to myself that I'd rather shoot myself than go anywhere with you. You were either in the ocean, talking to friends on the phone, or watching films on your computer. She took a couple of minutes to respond to this diatribe, finally lifting her head to say calmly, okay, I just booked us to a great trip to Tulum, Mexico. I was a was asked, did you hear anything I said? Yes, yes, she responded, but I was a teenager then. You're going to love spending time with me now. Well, what can I say? We returned 3 weeks ago, and we are still on talking terms. In Tulum, Scheherazade booked us for a dinner at the chef's table at a renowned restaurant, weeks ahead of time. The much celebrated chef first served us a few drinks on the patio overlooking the ocean and then took us inside for an 8-course meal, matched with exotic drinks. He described over 10 minutes how each part of the first course had come from a different region of Mexico. After all that build-up, the plates arrived, sectioned into 5 portions, consisting of, get this, whole worms, giant beetles, ants, crickets, or what looked like black lal bakes to me, baby lobsters, and deadly-looking tiny scorpions. There was not one thing I would normally eat without first saying Jal tu, Jalal tu, I Balako Dal tu, and giving instructions for my last rites, basically. But because of the chef's smooth talk, coaxing us along, I kid you not, we ate everything. भूख की दीवानगी तय कर चुकी कितने मकाम, अक्ल जिस मंजिल में थी अब तक उसी मंजिल में है. The reason to tell you this story is twofold. One, how important it is to provide people who are about to spend an entire evening of their time at your home with the right company. Marina does that mixing and matching to perfection. And second, a good cook can turn a bag of chips and dip into a 5-star feast with their seductive powers. So if you are ever to receive an invitation to one of our events, drop everything, RSVP yes, and get a copy of this book so you can learn how to throw the most delectably successful party. Trust me, your social life will thank you. For proof, just look around this room and look at the pictures provided in this book, giving you the star-studded company that Marina keeps. Here's another thing. I can see this book as a piece of performance art. I can see it being transformed into a cooking show, where Marina presides over the various occasions she has described, ranging from formal dinners to informal picnics, cricket matches to celebrating birthdays, from visiting shrines and mazars to the ultimate pilgrimage of Hajj, along with the appropriate menus and cooking instructions. For example, how lovely it would be to stage a traditional, lively, fun-filled, colorful musical mehndi, complete with the beautiful bride and her friends lighting up the floor with their energetic shadi songs and dance moves. And Marina then takes us through the drinks and food being served, starting with breakfast and ending with the post-dinner midnight feast with several breaks of appetizers, tasty snacks in between. I bet it would be more popular than Netflix's Indian matchmaking because wedding planners would no longer have to sweat over the menu. Marina already has the ingredients spelled out in her book, ranging from omelette, saag and dal to exotic dishes like chicken rizala, desi moussaka, and beer batter fish fry. And whoever heard of chicken spinach and cottage cheese kebabs? Find that next to Friends Without Borders in the book. Well, in summary, I love You Are Invited, but I adore its writer. Let me end with a confession. लगता नहीं है दिल मेरा बावर्ची खाने में. My own life in the West has been one long yearning, best expressed by Zakia Zahir in her lovely book Zindagi Zinda Dili Ka Naam Hai. ये शोहरत भी ले लो, ये दौलत भी ले लो, ये वॉशर भी ले लो, मशीनें भी ले लो, मुझे भेज दो मेरे 2-3 नौकर, वो बावर्ची धोबी, वो आया पुरानी, वो फुर्सत के दिन और वो रातें सुहानी.
Wow. Excellent.
I think that this book is going to be my savior. Before you know it, I may have my own version. You Are Invited to Azra Mahal. But seriously, Whether you are a diplomat yourself or just a regular person looking for a good meal, this book has got you covered. Just be warned, with the right company at your table, you might end up accidentally solving world peace while cooking up a storm in your kitchen. So here's to the real diplomat in the Fareed family, the one who has brought together an incredible group of family and friends, artists and scientists, poets and writers, diplomats and world leaders to East 87th Street, and ravished us all with her grace, her charm, her courtesies, her love, her generosity, her humor, and her fantastically elaborate feast. Her parties are truly the stuff of legends. Congratulations on your book, Marina, and thank you for making the world a little tastier. May your recipes bring peace and prosperity to kitchens around the world. I end with a short poem. In Manhattan's dazzling, vibrant sphere, a young Marina with grace did appear, a Pakistani gem, refined and rare, a beacon of elegance beyond compare. Her soul, a blend of cultures grand, from Lahore streets to Manhattan's Strand. With poise and grace she mesmerized, captivating groups that harmonized. But Marina's true passion, her culinary art, Ayesha's launch of this book, gesture from pure heart. From spices and flavors, Marina weaves a tale, sharing recipes that never can fail. With each turn of page, a new face delights, from biryani to kebabs, pure food flights, kitchen secrets and friends now on display, guiding food lovers on a flavorful way. This night arrived her moment of fame, a symphony of aromas, a vibrant flame. As Ayesha presented her book with delight, Shaukat swelled with pride for this night. Pakistani cuisine, a gastronomic sensation, Marina's book, an ode to her dedication. A socialite, a chef, a woman of class, her cookbook launch in triumph unsurpassed. Wish you a journey with more tales to unfold, a toast to future success and stories yet untold. So raise your glasses, let's celebrate this Pakistani gem. Great.
Wow.
Marina, Zindabad. Zindabad.
The importance of connection is really basically what this book, that's how it all just started. And when I started writing, I didn't think it'd come to this. Really, I mean, it was, I say it in all humility, I never thought, but I just started writing, it was a COVID-inspired book. And I just started writing and it evolved, and now I'm finding myself all of a sudden in this situation, but extremely blessed. But this is Ayesha's evening. I want to thank her. She is an advocate for our Pakistani community. She's been amazing, besides being a friend. We are so proud of her. She's one of those Consul Generals who do these things, you know. Whenever someone passed away, she usually wants to have something in honor. She always wants to know. She heard about my book. She said, I want to do something for you. The other day, she had something for Amin Goji. You know, constantly start promoting Pakistanis in whichever way possible, which is her job, but not every Consul General does it. So to her, it's really a pleasure, absolutely. And her reach beyond the community. She's got the commissioner here. We want to, on behalf of my community and myself, want to give you a warm welcome. I know you're very busy. I'm just told that you are another appointment. You came, and we are all very grateful to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was Ayesha's doing, getting him here. And of course, Munir Akram is here, Anwar Kamal is here, our colleagues. I mean, we've spent years and years and years together. We were very young and went through decades in the service, have beautiful memories. A lot of those things are really in my book. And my books have evolved. People ask why. I said, if I didn't really have all my friends in the book, it wouldn't be me. It really is, that's the life that we've lived, always sort of with family, with friends, with stories around the table. And a lot of these, and all these friends have been sort of on my table. Lot of the stories that you find there, a lot of the discussions, they were all around the table. So I feel very, very blessed that, really it's been, I love people, but also I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful people and grow through them, learn through them. And I look back and I feel that, I was really exceptionally privileged to be able to find today. This is really what, when I was writing, this is really how we came together. It's just how we lived our lives. So, Azra has explained everything, so I think, and basically it's a COVID-inspired book, and we were just sitting at home, and I started thinking about my life from the 60s, and where we are today, and sort of many, in the early 60s we had these incredible ambassadors. I thought about them, the way their wives were entertaining, the way they were conducting themselves. Munir is one of our top ambassadors here. We're proud to have him here in New York. And it's so writing that book, it felt very good. Rafat Anis is here. Rafat Mehdi, one of our top ambassadors. And we've known each other for so long that their journey has just been wonderful. And Azra Raza is fine. I don't know what she said about me. There's so much she said I'm trying to now. I have to replay that video because I'm just overwhelmed. But she is for me an icon. She's a guru. She is, I don't do anything without her. In the middle of something very serious, I call her for something very stupid. But really, she is my guru, and her family, her brother, her sister, Bibi, all of them are such support for us that we're very privileged to have you in our lives, truly privileged. And Basid's wife, we remember him all the time. The wonderful times we've had, and Shaukat misses him, still talks about him. He's the author himself. So all these little memories, I think that book has sort of, for me, I've sort of documented my life and people and friends and family. And so I feel very good about it. So I think probably that's, and I want to welcome each one of you, just to have all of you here. I just don't even know how I started that book. And when I talk about connections, I tell you it's little things. When I was writing, I finished my manuscript, and I was trying to find a publisher. And I talked to a couple of my friends, and they didn't seem convinced that diplomats and people and this, that, and the other. And then we went to a American friend of ours in a beautiful apartment at Gloria King's, and Shaul was seated next to a scriptwriter, Alan Platt. And somehow just by chance they were sitting next to each other. And then he came back, and Alan and Shaukat suddenly hit off and became friends. And then he came to have dinner, and we started talking about my book. And he said, well, I will introduce you to a friend who will help you. And there I've got Azra here. He is, yes. He introduced me to my publisher. And really just got the boat rolling, because until then I wasn't sure, And actually it's the kind of book that I wasn't sure that everybody would take. Now that it's there, you look at it and feel, maybe it's working. But at that time, whoever I talked to, a lot of people were not really very convinced. So he from Worldwide TV, he's very well connected. Every time there's a thing, Azra has always got somebody from me. And so this is what connections are all about. That and the person that Azra connected me to, my publisher, Vicky Jones, she told me, look, I'm a very small publishing company. I said, look, you're small, you just starting, but I'm nobody, so let's do it together. Because once you're so big, you don't care. So So I just feel that all kinds of people in your life come together, and that's how you grow. So I think you have to be open to everybody, because sometimes you think this one's important and that one is not, and that one's important and that one's not, and you miss a lot. You miss a lot of opportunities yourself. So it's, I think, very important. One thing that I've done is embrace everybody and be there, so that you know. And actually in my own life I've seen out of the blue, out of nowhere, people have come and have helped. These people are expected. And so that just confirms my belief in people, because the world revolves around people. And if you know people, things happen. And so my belief in connections, my belief in friendship, and my belief in nurturing them is very important, because it's just not about finding people, not about people who do things for you, but to remember that, to appreciate it, and to value, but not everybody is generous. So when generosity comes, I think it's very important to nurture those people. So I've been very, very fortunate. You know, this is just one of the examples. But throughout my life, I can tell you a whole lot of stories about, you know, some people have come around and made this happen in my life, or made that happen in Shauqat's life. Or, you know, so that is how at our age, when we look back, how have we come to here, you know, with something, you know, whether it's a job you got somewhere, a posting you got somewhere, or you go, you know, so all these things are all part of connections, and how you build your connections, and how you keep those friendships, and how you maintain those friendships. That's really basically what you are invited about. And I'm delighted to have each one of you, and I want to thank each one of you for coming. New York is a tough place, and one has to give up so many things to spend a couple of hours here. But thank you so much, very grateful. And for Tanvi, yes, they are also in my book, and she's representing them. So you know, it's just there's so many people that I need to connect to. So that's really how this whole thing is evolved. And there are a lot of people over here, I've known them for generations. And you know, I feel very happy. My daughter has these friends who, a lot of those girls, you know, are connected. I've met them, my parents, then, you know, it's a generation kind of thing. It's wonderful to see that my daughter and my son are also continuing those connections. So, and I keep telling them, just stay together. Because as you get older, these connections, friends, they keep you young, they keep you healthy, and they keep you well. So, and that's how we feel about it. I mean, you know, our lives are just so populated with people. We really don't get time to think of how old we are getting. So it's, I think it's a good thing we've done. I wouldn't change it in any other way. And thank each one of you for coming. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, Aisha. This was